Hey, my honey sparkles. This is Madam Equilibrium, and I welcome you to today's Divine Interconnected Ancient Knowledge Translation. And before we right away dive in, I want to very briefly mention that there are different ways of how you can listen or use this and other translations of mine. Firstly, you can listen to them as regular videos, of course, as I create them in a way that you can also use them as Pomodoros, ASMRs, and even as divine altars, by, for example, reducing the voice. So you have the chance to decide for yourself if you want to watch my video in silence, or if you maybe want to listen something from your own playlist, for example. And secondly, I marked this and other videos of mine as podcasts as well. So it's on you, my honey sparkles, okay? And now, then, let's dive into, okay? Just recently, I needed to visit the medical director of a hospital. Before I saw him, I was going through the hospital's hallway as I suddenly witnessed how lovely the surgeon, aka medical director, and the nurse, who I know for a very long time, were having childish fun while wandering through the hallway themselves. They obviously had a heart-to-heart moment within their own realm, just laughing and having fun, so that they even didn't recognize me, even though I was right next to them. It is not a thing that they didn't see me, on the very contrary, as they childishly walked side by side. For me personally and for my heart, it was just so heartwarming to witness such a pristine picture, especially nowadays. My point of view was and always is appreciation. I knew I was called and placed by Spirit to witness that very moment of exactly those two, not even knowing then why. But as always, I surrendered to the energetic flow and just appreciated the gift of witnessing such a beautiful moment of purity between humankind. Such rare moments are always signs and confirmations for me to read and to translate, even maybe later on. Now, I ask you, my honey sparkles, or at least the majority of you, what was it? Very honestly, that dropped into mind in the second I told you about my witness in the matter of the surgeon and the nurse? What was it? Did some of you catch yourselves thinking, the surgeon and the nurse, something is going on there, uh-oh. Some did, right? And I'm called to stop your thoughts here because that's exactly the dense and nasty imprint we should think to connect, to disconnect from our divinity, as well as lose our connection to the divine matrix, to our collective consciousness, aka our all connected synaptic network. Yes, such thoughts are acting for disconnection and not vice versa, just for disconnection only. Okay? We are not getting programmed to have even a single hearty moment or being or feeling happy, especially not for others, and in this scenario, for their moment. No. We should not connect to their pristine energy. We should not feel happiness for them. We should not support humankind. No. While we are growing up, we get programmed to immediately think badly or dirty about being childish. Especially in between sexes, we don't absorb support for good. We get imprinted to be nasty, bad, and full of negative, destructive thoughts towards others, while simultaneously experiencing tense and dense sensations about ourselves as well. So, what's pre-programmed to happen then is that we either feel nasty about ourselves because we catch ourselves in that ocean of nasty thoughts, or we suddenly, maybe surprisingly, feel good about ourselves of thinking in nasty ways. Anyways, either way is meant for destruction and disconnection. And why am I telling you that? Let's come back to the story itself. After our meeting, we as always shared a brief private conversation about everything and nothing. Nothing very important, just normal all-day stuff, okay? Just right before we say our goodbyes, and I almost forgot it, I mentioned the adorable momentum of those two I was gifted to witness and told him about my deep appreciation. And guess what, my honey sparkles? Guess what? What do you guess how he reacted and what he said to me? By also considering the fact he is a medical director as well. What do you think? Even though we know each other, including the staff, for so long, he, to my surprise, said, with a bit of sadness within his voice, quote, "You know I'm happily married." Actually, I didn't expect that reaction, but recognized his deep, honest sadness immediately. So I said to him that to me, to my eyes and my heart, it was just a very beautiful, pristine moment of two humans having fun and being purely kind to each other. And that he should please do not have any worries about that adorable moment, because I never carried such thoughts within. As soon as I said that, you could literally see how a huge burden dropped off him. The moral of the story is now what? What is it? First of all, we learned that even though we are careful by nature, we still need to be more careful about our words we say out loud, to not manifest anything we don't want to manifest. Because this would bring destruction and with that hard times on earth. Furthermore, we learned that the imprints and programmings are so incredibly strong as well as deeply anchored within our system that just nobody gets away. If, and that's good news actually, we don't stay by ourselves to reflect our own thoughts. In this mentioned scenario, and without putting the director on a pedestal, even he, as someone with a reputation on this earth, struggles with external imprints, which irritatingly led him to protect himself, even though there was no need at all for any protection at all. But the truth, why I, and you shouldn't either, don't want to put him or anyone at all on a pedestal is that we are all together standing on a divine pedestal of purity. You need a picture? Okay, for those who want to have or need an earth-based picture, the way or the picture how I lovingly invite you to see is that we are all pure, untreated diamonds of light, glimmering, shining, and lightening all together on this divine pedestal. Equally. Okay? Equally. Yeah, until someone or something external comes through trying to grab our lights or even push us down from our pedestal and so disconnect us from our common network, aka matrix, aka from our brothers and sisters. It's the thoughts which irritated us, which often try to disconnect us from our source, because the thoughts are a dry well we fell in when we fell into the hoax of thoughts. And what does this mean? This means if you fell into a dry well, you have no water, aka no hope to come to the surface again. You can get lost and even forgotten in there in the pitch black hole without nothing, no water, no food, no hope of survival at all. So at the end, there's a high risk that you can dry out as well. And this is what we do not want to happen. Do we want that overload of drama? I believe no one wants to dry out in a dry well, right? It's dark, I know, but it's real. But it's on you to decide the path of either the darkness or the light, or to build a harmonious balance between both. Because we have free will. No one, no human being, no entity, nothing can manipulate free will as long as you don't allow it to happen. And in my example, in the matter of the medical director, I didn't allow it to happen and chose the path of light, aka the heart, aka a heart-to-heart communication, which I always prefer to choose, by the way. Maybe ask yourself if that decision brought me anything at all. Well, first of all, if you think that way, you haven't understood what I'm telling you here. And so I kindly invite you to take a deeply honest look within your heart, soul, and mind, okay? And actually, of course, that brought something, even though it is completely not about expecting anything in return. But if you desperately want to hear about any return, the most beautiful return is humanity. Okay? Meaning, the next time I was there to meet him, he came into the room funnily smirking and saying, "Hola." What made me laugh, because as he came in, he looked again so funny and so proud of himself that triggered my human nerves immediately. Spontaneously, I greeted him back with a vibrational Spanish "Hola." I know it's dramatic. But and this obviously triggered then his humorers, so that everyone in the room couldn't help and burst into laughter. Thinking that he maybe wanted to communicate further in Spanish, I asked him if it is so, just to get his answer that he actually can speak Spanish. Still laughing, he admitted that his son is about to learn Spanish, and he actually can only say "Hola." Okay, man, Sparkles, I admit too, I can speak Spanish as well. At least not anymore. Well, if you have listened to my Let's Get to Know Each Other video, you know my history about languages. Anyways, back to the story. If he said yes, I would have tried to make a tiny conversation just from a little bit of Spanish that I caught from here and there, just enough to say at least something, okay? But what I said instead was, if you want to nevertheless speak Spanish, you can try to have a conversation with my daughter, who was also there on this day. Anyway, everyone in the room kept laughing and smirking throughout the whole meeting. And this, my honey sparkles, is the real, actual return. Okay? It's the peace we gain after breaking the programming we got and still forcefully get imprinted. The equilibrium of heart, mind, and soul, allowing to permeate not only oneself, but the whole surroundings as well. And so we cleanse the external programming, and with that, we reprogram our matrix we want to exist in, as long as we are lingering on this earth. And there is no more to add, my honey sparkles. That's divinity.